Norv server here. Welcome back to the channel. What's up, everybody? Today's Destiny video, I got for you the Stormdancer's Brace exotic armor piece. I'm going to be pairing that with Prismatic Warlock. I'm going to be going over all the fragments, what aspects I'm using, and what weapons I'm using here is Winter's Bite, so I can get my Transcendence even faster. I'm also using Uncivil Discourse and Festival Flight GL, so I can get that super tick up. But what I'm here for is I want to show you guys the DPS with and without the chest piece. Let's get into this. I'm gonna take this off real fast, and I'm running high super still. It's around 170. So let me demonstrate with the chest piece and without it, and then I'll explain what the chest piece does as well. Let's see. Let's look at the damage numbers here. Alright, so not bad, not good. Don't mind the DPS. The DPS for some reason is bugged for me. Alright, so we're looking at 7,200 damage without the chest piece and 170 super, which is pretty high. I have 185 with a super font, so if I grab an orb before I pop my super, then I'm pretty much going to be at 200 supers. So let me show you what the damage does with the chest piece. This is actually doubles it, or kind of triples it. Alright, let's do the landfall. Alright. Look at that, just juiced. That's without the, that's without weapons and look at that, it's just juice damage. So we got up to 18k, 19k. That's actually pretty insane. So the chest piece, what it does is they actually reworked this. So like before you would have to get kills to amplify the damage, but now you just have to get tagged. So Storm Dance hits and final blows increase the damage it deals. Refunds super energy when it ends. Ability damage will amplify grants bolt charge. So when you're amplified and you're just getting ability kills, it pretty much just you get bolt charge. So it's really nice. Let's go over the fragments and all that good stuff. And also before I get into the fragments, I want to show you the artifact. Make sure you have dielectric on. Defeating arc debuff targets grant bolt charge. So this is really nice. It's going to give you even more bolt charge. So let's go over the fragments, the aspects, and everything else that I have in this build. And I'm rocking on Prismatic, not Arc, because Arc, to me, the survivability is terrible. So let's get into the rest of the video. Alright, now that I pretty much explained what the exotic does, one thing that I had to point out is make sure you're running as high as super as possible. That is very important for this build. And if you're rocking around like 160 super, you can always just, put on like 2 super fonts. It kind of sucks because it's like you have to use those super fonts over like hands on or maybe like a special ammo finder, which for me it just kind of, it sucks. But anyway, make sure you put on as high as super as possible. Alright, so let's get into what fragments and aspects. I want to get into the fragments first. Obviously, number one, we're going to go with facet of protection. While surrounded by combatants, you are more resistant to incoming damage. And while you're transcendent, the effect is increased. So you're going to be transcendent a lot with this build, which is super good and it's super nice. So you're going to need that DR, which is really good. So for the second fragment, we're going to go with Facet of Hope. This is while you have an elemental buff, your class ability regenerates more quickly. So say if you have a target jolted, or if you hit them with your melee or your nade or whatever, your Phoenix Dive is going to come back faster. That is what I'm using for this build because I'm kind of more, I lean more towards Phoenix Dive because I know they made the changes to the Rift where you can move a little bit, but I like to move around a lot in PvE when I'm amplified so the ads aren't like tagging me. So make sure you go with Facet of Hope. And for the third fragment, we're going to go with Facet of Dominance. This is going to make my Storm Grenade jolt targets, which is really good against Overload champions. So if you are in an activity with overloads, easy, throw the nade, do your melee. And yeah, my controller died right here. Don't you mind that? Technical difficulties. But anyway, let's get into the fourth fragment. The fourth fragment is Facet of Courage. Your Arc, Solar, and Void abilities deal increased damage to targets afflicted with Darkness debuff. this is where threaded needle your melee. So say if there's a ton of ads, right? You throw your melee out, then pop your super at the big boy. And say if there's like a big old wyvern in the lawless frontier, you throw your melee at it, and then you pop your super, and it's just instant nukes. It just instant kills, as you can see in the gameplay. It's actually, I didn't even throw my melee at it, just insta killed. So for the last and final fragment, we're gonna go with Facet of Blessing. While final blows start health regeneration. Melee final blows start health regeneration, while transcendent melee final blows start health regeneration for you and nearby allies. So we're going to be using the electro slide with this to get even more amplified, you know, because when you're amplified with the Stormdancer's brace, you're going to be getting bolt charge with your ability kill. Super nice. So let's get into the aspects, and then I'll talk about the abilities. Obviously, make sure you have Stormcaller on. I got to throw that out there. So yeah, let's get into the aspects. Alright, so for the aspects on this build, I am rocking Lightning Surge, so I can do the uppercut, the lightning uppercut to the ads, which is really good, really nice. It charges your super really fast, especially if you have hands on. And then obviously, for the second one, I always say, a no-brainer is Devour. Devour for me in high-end content is it's just too good to not use. Like, instant health, your grenades recharge faster. It's just too good. So yeah, make sure you guys have these two aspects on for this build. Alright, now I want to talk about the abilities. The abilities for this, I want to go with Phoenix Dive for my Rift replacement, and I want to go with Burst Glide for my jump, and I want to go with Arcane Needle, so I have the 3 melees, and I also have the Darkness debuff, and I want to go with Storm Grenade, just so I can jolt a bunch of targets, you know, throw the nade, pop your super, you can do the uppercut, super strong. So if you made it this far into the video, I appreciate it. I know I don't have an editor or anything, you know, I do this all myself. I try my best, and yeah, so I enjoy it, it's something to do, and I love Destiny, you know. I do shit talk the game when I get mad, but I think everybody does, so I appreciate it, everybody watching, and yeah, so make sure we hit that like, make sure we subscribe, and make sure we follow the channel and everything. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope the builds helped you, because it helped me a lot. This thing is really strong, so yeah, and I hope you guys come back and watch me some more, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace.